Okay.
And welcome to Game 2 of MiTH.Trust versus First Departure for the joinDOTA League Season 2 Asia Division 1. I am Roxas, and with me is Whiplash. So, Whiplash, what do you think of that last game?
Well, like you said, the lineups were basically execution-based, and we did see MiTH.Trust do pretty darn good, and it feels like they just kind of outplayed First Departure overall. They're the guys that needed to get the kills on their team, got them. The Spectre got really farmed, was able to go for a Vanguard, then a Radiance, and ended up like 6-1 at a pretty early point in the game, just kind of spiraled out of control from there. If you get a hard carry like Spectre a little bit too farmed too fast, then it's just not going to bode well for the enemy team. And even though they had the PL Keeper of the Lake combo, it just wasn't really enough. He couldn't farm the farm he needed. He couldn't get big fast enough to make a huge difference for his team, and MiTH.Trust just kind of eventually took it.
Yeah, that's the thing about like PL versus Spectre in particular, though, is in a war of farming creeps, you get like a Luna with a Helm of the Dominator or a Mask of Madness. You put an anti-mage up there. You put a PL up there as far as being the top tier heroes that are going to be really, really fast at farming creeps. But the cool thing about Spectre is that she's able to secure a Radiance, which is a good item for farming creeps early on, and she's able to get lots of assists with haunt damage and team fights, then she's just going to have that much more of an accelerated net worth over the PL, who's only going to be able to exacerbate his strength in trying to farm creeps. So the ban changes instantly were the same for MiTH.Trust, but First Departure forego the Invoker, and I believe they banned Naga last game, and they go for banning the Centaur and the Nyx. So MiTH.Trust respond by picking up Invoker and Batrider, two of my favorite heroes to watch, and I think two very, very strong heroes in the metagame. And First Departure going for the global strat. They're going to be going for Ancient Apparition and Nature's Prophet right away, and MiTH.Trust responds by banning out more global with the Wisp.
Indeed. Still, we have Clockwork with some Rocket Flare available if they really want to go hardcore into that kind of playstyle, but I do imagine Nature's Prophet will end up in the off lane regardless, and they don't get Invoker to help out with that global strat with some Sunstrikes either, but still, they have two very big pieces of the puzzle with the Ancient Apparition, Nature's Prophet being picked up. I really do like that First Departure banned out the Centaur. I feel like MiTH.Trust was just utilizing that hero a little too efficiently, and I guess Ember Spirit, like you said, is still banned out. Same with the Lycan. The IO ban, though, Wisp over here, is a little confusing for me. Can you kind of try to figure out what's going on with that?
It just pairs really, really well with Nature's Prophet and Ancient Apparition. So basically, if you have a Wisp +1, the Wisp and, say, Tiny is usually what they're paired with, and you're going to be farming a lot. And if Nature's Prophet builds a Shadow Blade, I mean, yeah, that's great for split pushing, but it's also great for initiation. So you teleport somewhere, Shadow Blades in their jungle, finds a gank, all of a sudden there's a Wisp and Tiny and an AA blast coming in. And then you just essentially can't safely farm anywhere on the map. So they don't want to deal with that. So First Departure did lose the last game, basically because they weren't able to farm the lane safely. The only one that was able to was PL. Everyone else just kind of had to stay in their base. So they're going to be avoiding that problem, which is very difficult to deal with, even for the most experienced teams. I think that really, like, most of the Western teams, for like Fnatic, Na'Vi, Alliance, back when Wisp was really, really good in 6.78, are the best at dealing with it, just because the hero was broken, it was always in, so you had to learn, basically by force. So, but a lot of these Southeast Asian, Korean teams, Asian teams, they have a harder time dealing with it, and I think it's smarter to just ban it out. You don't have to leave it in the pool just to think like, well, it's really difficult to deal with. Maybe we can. Nah, just take it out. It's a big pain in the rear.
Well, I noticed that MiTH.Trust, they've banned out the Dragon Knight, but that does leave the OD still available for First Departure if they want to run him mid. And they decided to get rid of the Sand King and Doom. So already a lot of heroes that MiTH.Trust was using last game are simply not available for them. And it does lead me to wonder what they want to run as far as supports go. We still have a lot of options as far as the carry is concerned. So I guess we'll still have to wait and see what they want to pick.
So Well, first departure picks up the Bane, which makes... I was going to say a Mirana is pretty good if you're running a global strat as well, just because you can have Moonlight Shadow for your initiation mostly anywhere on the map, and the global presence from Nature's Prophet, Nature Apparition can help out whenever there's any gank from even just one member of the team involved. I think MiTH.Trust, I mentioned Shadow Demon last game, I always mention him against the Bat Rider, just because you can purge the Bat Rider or disrupt him whenever he blinks in, or you can disrupt whoever he lassos. So they could deny that from MiTH.Trust. Obviously, they can't get that because basically first departure is like, all right, well, we're going to pick Mirana and you can't stop us unless you go for a Mirana carry, which they would have to pick up now. So they do pick up Shadow Demon. Bam! And so it looks like first departure should be picking up a Mirana here.
All right, yeah, I would expect that as well, to pair nicely with the Bane. And I do like the Shadow Demon, I guess, semi-deny from MiTH.Trust. I think if you have one or the other with Bane and Shadow Demon, you got your setup, but, I mean, both of them together would just be straight up nasty, I suppose, for that situation.
Well, they would run if they did do that, they would be running an Ancient Apparition mid. And I didn't really mention that explicitly because it's been done before, like long, long ago, Dendi mid AA was a thing, so... It's certainly not out of the realm to be getting a Shadow Demon as well, so...
Maybe not sorry, actually, I glossed over the fact that First Departure already had 2 supports as well, but what you say still stands.
So they go with more global, so they go with the Clockwork, and they're going to throw that mid. You did mention that, maybe they aren't going to pick Clockwork because Nature's Prophet will go in the off lane. But both of those heroes actually do quite well mid. Nature's Prophet, especially on Radiant, can go farm those camps in the same way that a Shadow Fiend can. He has very good base damage and a very good animation. So it's actually quite difficult to get some last hits, especially if we're going to see maybe a Wex Invoker coming out, who's not going to be able to have the damage to last hit. He'll be doing fine against Clockwork. If they do run this, I kind of expect to see Nature's Prophet mid and Clockwork offlane because Clockwork will be more survivable. Even though I think that Clockwork, I personally prefer him mid because I just think he does so much with the runes. But if they're going to be looking to try to get a good matchup against the Invoker, they would certainly want to throw the Nature's Prophet there.
Yeah, I would prefer to see the Nature's Prophet mid, just based on their lineup. I mean, why not put the Clockwork in the offlane? I feel like you can get a little bit more done there, and Nature's Prophet can get a little bit more done in the mid lane. So where you see First Departure, they have all of their team assembled except for their hard carry. They're missing their position 1 hero. So that's what they're looking for. And meanwhile, MiTH.Trust, they're still fishing for another support as well as their own hard carry. Any predictions, any ideas where these final few slots will kind of end up at?
I think that Luna could work out very well for First Departure. Basically, Luna's hardest problem is getting ganked early on, and she'll be kept very safe by the Ancient Apparition, the Bane, plus the buffs ups to the right clicks from Lunar Blessing and Chilling Touch can be quite difficult to deal with early on, not to mention Bane actually clicks quite hard for support. Not to mention Clockwork and Luna in conjunction basically shut down any melee carry. If Clock hooks you and you're stuck in cogs and you aren't Faceless Void and you can't time walk out of the cogs or you're not Storm Spirit or anything like that, it's always going to take 3 hits to kill cogs if there's no Force Staff, no matter how much damage you do. So MiTH.Trust decides that they're going to take the Mirana themselves. So now they have the SD Mirana combination as their hard carry. So they're going to be looking for their other support. I think Chen works well. Leshrac and Lina works out. Enchantress is pretty good, especially on the dire side for the early Roshan with Untouchable.
10 seconds remaining.
But in general, I like that they go for the Mirana. In addition to talking about getting out of cogs, she can leap out of cogs. And she can leap out of Sprout as well. So the only way that they can lock her down is by using Bane or by killing a Chill and Cold Feet proc.
By the way, there's a lot of scratching coming from your mics, so just want to point that out there for you.
Oh, my bad. I know exactly what that is. I'll fix that up. Cable.
All right, cool.
Yeah, there's another cable. I drape it behind my head so that it doesn't scratch on my mic like that, but it got to the front somehow. Apologies.
Okay, no problem. Just want to throw that out there before it gets any worse and the viewers start to complain. But yeah, beyond that, the final ban from First Departure will be the Shadow Demon. still waiting on the fifth ban from MiTH.Trust.
5 seconds remaining.
And like I said, a Luna still would be a good choice to pick up
Radiant team
for first
pick.
departure if they want to grab that. And MiTH.Trust, maybe they can go with the Enchantress. And they ban out the Faceless Void, actually, though, so that's what they're the most afraid of. And I suppose that would pair quite well with the Ancient Apparition Nature's Prophet combo, along with Clockwork to kind of help initiate and start the chaos, and Bane to come around and disable people where needed until that Chronosphere is up and online.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also Rocket Flare
10
as well.
seconds remaining.
So that also adds to the damage from the Faceless Void.
5
Plus,
seconds
also,
remaining.
MiTH.Trust doesn't have the most late game. If you have a Mirana hard carry, yes, Invoker does do damage when he gets
Reserve
levels
time.
in Exort and gets some items, but holy
Whoa!
crap!
What?
Dire
What?
team pick.
Oh my! Support
What?
Timbersaw.
Whoa!
This is aggression, aggression, aggression. So,
Holy crap!
Burning Spear is no longer a unique attack modifier, so it does have the health cost, but if he attacks for enough, he can just re-get that. If he has Life Steal, Deso Huskar does a lot. It's very difficult to out-harass him in
10
lane
seconds
as
remaining.
well. I've personally never seen a one-position Huskar in this
5
time.
seconds remaining.
Neither have I.
MiTH.Trust, they're all pretty squishy.
Anti-mage.
Anti-Mage, it's a support Mirana. Alright, they're
Oh,
going to take it
cool.
late against them.
Very nice. This is so cool. Like I honestly don't know what's going to happen this game with the Huskar. I'm curious to see how good Chance is able to play this hero and if they can kind of beat out MiTH.Trust's lineup. Now, I am concerned because MiTH.Trust has just so much like utility on their lineup. They have so many heroes that are really skill based, and if you play them to like the highest of their ability, heroes like Invoker, Mirana, the Bat Rider, even Shadow Demon, it's really hard to deal with them, and it seems like they should be able to create a good amount of space for the anti-mage. It's maybe just having that Huskar is going to be such a big throw-off that MiTH.Trust won't like 100% be ready for the hero and how to properly deal against it.
I don't think anyone really knows how to deal with Huskar. But let's go ahead and quit Theorycraft and let's go ahead and get with the introductions. On first departure, up one game. Oh, sorry. They're down one game in this best two, so need to tie up the series with a victory here. On the support Bane, we have Scripted. The other support on the Ancient Apparition, we have Lubby. On the one position Huskar, taking Burning Spears, level 1, we have Chains. Going in the off lane, safe lane, with the
30
fancy new
seconds
Clockwork
to
set,
battle.
we have Dafa. And going in the mid lane as the Nature's Prophet, we have KS.
Indeed, and moving over to MiTH.Trust's line over on the dire end, we have the Shadow Demon being handled by TNK, and the other support helping him out will be Sand Kung, this time not playing a Sand King but a Mirana. And then over to the mid lane, it's AABBAA, ABBA on the Invoker. Moving towards the off lane, it's KYT as the Bat Rider. And finally, to round up their lineup, we have LK as the anti-mage, the position 1 hard carry for MiTH.Trust. And that will complete their introduction.
If we're going to talk about like split pushing hard carries, I think Anti-Mage is so much more fun to watch than a PL. Just because there's so much action when he finally does team fight, whereas PL like just throws out a bunch of lances and just kind of waits for things to happen. But Anti-Mage blinks in and mantas, and you just hear everyone mana burning and running away and crying with tears of fear. There's a haste around Shadow Demon mid lane, by the way.
Oh, there is. Oh, and it looks like... Oh, the arrow misses Nature's Prophet. That, I think, just costed them first blood. Arrow just slightly off the mark.
Yeah, I don't know if the haste rune is running out or something, but I feel like TNK got a little bit overeager there, and Mirana had to kind of hastily throw the arrow. Obviously, you want to be pretty far away to throw a 5-second arrow, but still,
Yeah.
it could have gone worse.
Now let's talk a little bit about this tri-lane, though, Roxas, because, I mean, Huskar, he is going to have his Burning Spears. I suppose he can be quite aggressive with them as well. And this Anti-Mage, he'll have to deal with Enfeeble, reducing his attack damage. So Bane going for the Enfeeble build, I guess, over the more common ones using the Nightmare early on and Brain Sap. So they have a lot of damage, and they also can pretty much prevent this Anti-Mage from doing any right-click beyond the extra he'll get with Mana Burn.
Yeah, Anti-Mage without heavy support, he's actually the one taking the pulls now. It's pretty much not going to get anything in the lane. Anti-Mage has one of the worst strength gains in the game for any carry. As we see, he's only sitting at 587 health right now. As soon
Hey
as he
man,
gets
he's no Terrorblade.
Yeah, he's no Terrorblade. Let's hold that thought for a moment, though, as there is a smoke mid lane.
Indeed, there is. They're just edging in. Okay, the smoke's revealed, but I think KS, he's trying to run in the other way, but can't make up his mind. He's saying, okay, you know what, I'll just teleport away, but there's just no saving him. The combo with the arrow, the follow-up after that disruption, gives the first blood to the Shadow Demon. He really had nowhere to run or hide.
That is the problem with the Nature's Prophet mid, is he...
Oh, bottom lane though, Clockwork, he has to teleport home. Well, actually, teleports just to his tier 1 tower, but that was almost another kill from the Bat Rider.
I have a lot of thoughts. Oh gosh, the overlay's on. Oops.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's bad. Oops, I'm so sorry
That's
about that,
definitely
everyone.
well, another arrow flinging out to mid, but KS dodges the arrow, and with that saves his life. That was looking very close. I'm actually kind of curious why MiTH.Trust are okay, like letting their anti-mage just kind of fend for himself up here against this tri-lane with the Huskar, Ancient Apparition, and the Bane.
Well, the reason that you draft Bane and Mirana is that you want to go roaming early. And they're saying, okay, well, anti-mage isn't really going to get much, but if we're managing to kill everyone else, it's going to be fine. And they should not feel too bad as long as they can survive for the late game to get against the Huskar. Because anti-mage is going to outcarry a Huskar easily. So
yeah.
He's getting some experience. He's got boots right now, and if he gets a ring of health, like maybe he doesn't go Battle Fury here, maybe he goes for the Vlad instead.
Bottom lane though, Dafa. He's going to throw up the cogs, but still gets hit inside the disruption. And the arrow misses again. I don't know what's up with Sandkung, but he's not hitting these arrows. Soulcatcher will go onto the Clockwork, and he is teleporting away and will just narrowly escape with his life. So that is another smoke ink that has failed. And yes, they did send away the Clockwork, but it still was not a successful mission.
Yeah. Well, it's important that they're able to try to get these kills. So they're roaming, and even if they aren't killing them, almost killing them can sometimes be just as good in some aspects. So still, they are trading this for anti-mage, only having 7 last hits, and most of those being from the pool. I'm not sure if it's going to be super worth it. We're going to have to see what the item builds are coming out for. Clockwork obviously wants to fight very early. Nature's Prophet, he usually doesn't want to fight super early, but he can be effective just with teleport and phase boots most of the time. Huskar should be trying to be super aggressive, and AA usually wants to rush the Ags, but doesn't really need that. So I'm curious how the first departure plays this, because if they just kind of sit back, then I think that this tri-lane wasn't really worth it. Because the anti-mage can just buy a Vladimir's, go for a Manta Style instead, go for a Vladimir's instead of his Battle Fury, and he can still outcarry the Huskar, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Burns
bottom lane, there's another initiation. The arrow, will it actually connect this time around? No! It doesn't! I'm sorry, but Sandkun, you are not a great Mirana if you've missed 3 arrows or 4 arrows that you should have totally hit. And because of that, they don't kill the Clockwork. If they don't have DPS, he's still totally fine on health. This is just embarrassing for the Mirana, in all honesty.
Well, I mean, Mirana's a tough hero if you haven't gotten used to playing it. If you're a support player, you probably don't play as much Mirana as you play other supports, because support Mirana, not the same as a Visage or, I don't know, Leshrac, right? Other pretty good heroes that go well with Shadow Demon, or Lina as well. So, still, like you said, it's cost them a few kills here and there. And the space that they're creating is not really doing a whole lot. And the anti-mage is trying to say, like, guys, I'm not getting anything. Can you please kill some people to avenge me? Gosh. He's only got 9 last hits. I think that they're all jungle creeps, too.
Pretty much they're all jungle creeps, for the best of my knowledge. And look at that. TNK gives him a single tango to help him out. The supports are rotating back to the top lane. So that's a little bit of good news for the anti-mage. It may force this Bane to kind of help out as well. He has essentially just stayed in the mid lane with the Nature's Prophet for a lot of this game, actually, to fight Joker. And now, Chains, he may be in a bit of trouble because this Mirana, can she actually hit her arrow? Not flinging out any arrows just yet, but I'm expecting for them to have some quick action here. Alright, Shadow Demon, he gets the disruption on. Alright, the arrow, it actually hits this time. Follow up with the Sunstrike. And finally, That arrow is able to be useful. They nab themselves another kill. And MiTH.Trust.
They gave it to the Anti-Mage too, which is the most important thing. Now he picks up a Ring of Health. He's going to be on track to a Battle Fury pretty early. And despite getting no CS for 7 minutes, if the camps start to be stacked for him, which it looks like this is inadvertently stacked as well, the supports can start doing that and making room for him. It's going to be just fine. And Anti-Mage is not like an alchemist, where he can recover with Grievel's Greed, but he just recovers because he farms so dang quickly with Blink and with a Battle Fury. So, I'm not worried about them at all.
Alright, cool. So, a verdict on the Anti-Mage is he'll be just fine.
He'll be just fine, I think. Like, I think he's been shut down, but I think, based on MiTH.Trust's play last game, I think that they are going to play to the script and know exactly what they're going to need to do. Their decision-making the last game was just flawless. So,
Indeed.
They're playing a different style this game.
Well, let's check out this Batrider with the Haste flying over the Tier 1 tower, diving it onto KS. They're going to drag him back. And Poker backing up as well, though. What? Okay, they're turning around on him to finish the job. There's the cold snap. Defa is nearby, though. He misses the hook, and he hasn't used any cogs as well to kind of knock away. Okay, there's the knock away, but... Oh, they actually net him. But there's 4 stacks of napalm, 11 health. Nature's probably throws out the ultimate, but he still survives. Huskar comes in, nabs the kill on Batrider. That was a seriously botched gank attempt from MiTH.Trust, I feel. If Invoker just put the cold snap down earlier on, I don't see what could have stopped them from getting a kill.
Well, basically, they saw the trees disappearing from the TP, and they assumed that it was going to be more than just the clockwork, so they immediately backed off. Then they saw, oh, it's just clock, we can take this, and then they just kind of hesitated it, and that gave Huskar the time to rotate down. But that was some much-needed free farm for Anti-Mage. He's already up to 25 last hits after only having 7 about 90 seconds ago. So he's on the right road, and not to mention, he's got a point in Spell Shield. He didn't go for stats, so he's actually going to be pretty good against the Burning Spears, and since he has that Ring of Health, as long as he just stays back in experience range or goes to the jungle, he can deal with those Burning Spears as long as he doesn't get so greedy.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be A-okay. And so, building into his power treads first, after getting that Ring of Health, and the Poor Man's Shield. So yeah, just a little bit of extra health from the power treads to help out his survivability. I'm totally cool with that. We are seeing the support duo, they're smoking again, and we are seeing them move towards middle lane, but if we take a look at first departure, they already have multiple people they are waiting, they are simply waiting for someone to come near this Tier 1 tower so they can turn it around and get a gank on whoever comes mid of their own.
Yeah, it's certainly a trap. We'll see. Looks like it's just important that they're making space on the map like this. Well, never mind.
Clockwork, he throws it out. The Sunstrike will connect with Defa and the Era as well. Not before we see the Invoker die. They also get the Mirana, but behind all of that, Shadow Demon was blown up quite quick as well. They also have the Nightmare onto the Batrider. Will they be able to follow this up with an actual kill? They can't really use Sprout, he'll just Fireflight out of that. So it looks like Batrider survives the engagement, but still 3-4-0. FD were totally ready for that fight and just waiting. And meanwhile, top lane, Anti-Mage so low on health. It looks like he will end up dying. He tries to throw out the Mana Break at the end of the day. The Chains is still A-okay. He's going to turn it around on Sandcon as well, throwing out a lot of Burning Spears. Batrider will lasso him, keeping him in place. Down goes the Huskar. And they're going to move around on K as the Sunstrike connects. And with that, they have enough DPS to finish off the Nature's Prophet. But they still kill off the Anti-Mage. They do lose Huskar and Nature's Prophet, so a lot of deaths just going both ways.
I thought it was incredibly smart for Anti-Mage to throw out the Mana Void, because he knew he was going to die, but actually with that Mana Void, he just knew that he secured himself assist gold. So he essentially had made his death cost a little bit less. And this I was going to point out the build, he's actually gone for maxed out Blink instead of points and stats at levels 4 and 5. Which means that maybe he would have survived that, but he got to Blink twice as well, so kind of hard to tell. He's just expecting a lot of aggression early that he's going to want to evade, not want to tank through. So kind of a hard call, and also in that mid lane fight, God, the Nature's Wrath did so much damage. Mirana and SD just walked down. They were pretty much, I guess he was half health, and Mirana was about 3/4 health. They walked in and were almost
Meanwhile,
dead.
bottom lane, Defy gets hit with the Sunstrike, and the Soul Catcher's on him as well. They'll be able to finish off the Clockwork. It's still a little global strategy, I suppose. Now Batrider trying to pursue somebody. We'll see if they can get KS, but Batrider's just, he's lacking some mana,
Dyer's
and
bottom
that will
tower
prevent
is
him
under
from really
attack.
doing anything in this situation. The top lane, the action continues. Anti-Mage will fall once again, thanks to the Fiend's Grip. I think Huskar wasn't even involved in that fight whatsoever.
Radiant's middle
He was
tower is
walking
under
up there.
attack.
I suppose so. That's all he ended up really doing. And Chains now teleports to the mid lane. I think we should see this top tower get pretty low on health, or even fall, unless there's a rotation from MiTH.
Yeah, I think that they just let it go. The other thing about letting this tier 1 tower go is that the creep wave is going to push closer to base and closer to the jungle, which means that Anti-Mage gets more free farm. By the way, Sandcombe is in the mid lane with an Invis rune.
Indeed he is. We'll see if he can nab himself a kill with an arrow. If the arrow
Radiant's
connects,
bottom tower
they
is
should
under
be able
attack.
to maybe get a kill. I don't know on Huskar. I think he's just a little bit too tanky with that Berserker's Blood.
Not to mention the magic resist as well, and most of the damage coming out from Invoker is going to be magical with the Cold Snap and the Sunstrike, so... We didn't explicitly mention it, but he did go for the Forward Spirit build, the 4-1-4-1 build. Get 2 Forward Spirits at level 10, and he's probably going to start maxing out Exort for the Sunstrikes in combination with the Disruption Soul Catcher. It does 675 damage at max Wex, or max Exort, and what does Soul Catcher give you? Like 50% bonus damage? Yeah, 50%, so
Yep.
almost 1,000 damage if you get Soul Catcher on someone.
Ouch. It's a lot of DPS, if they can manage to get it.
We also mentioned Shadow Demon in combination with Luna and PL earlier. It still works very well with Anti-Mage because all of his illusions do mana break. Plus they hit really hard and fast. So you can see each towers with Mantis Style and Shadow Demon illusions super late in the game. Scripted,
That's
he was
true.
looking for something. He's the one getting
And
hunted.
yeah, he just teleports straight out of there, because that's not the place to be. And I'm surprised that only one tower is dead at this point with the Nature's Prophet online. I guess they're more focused on ganking, I suppose, at this point, or just surviving ganks, which we've seen a lot from MiTH.Trust throughout this match. But I guess KS, he's going to be working on this bottom tower pretty quickly. Meanwhile, mid lane, Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, it hits the Invoker. There's that a Sunstrike, will connect with Chains as well. And oh, Shadow Demon doing his best. I think with that disruption, he did keep Invoker alive, or either way, it was
really
very
close.
close. Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to not do it. So.
Waste 120 mana. Oh, meanwhile, bottom lane, I think this Nature's Prophet may not survive this engagement. Yeah, the arrow connects, and that'll be his death. MiTH.Trust having another kill, but still, we're seeing First Departure ahead by 2 kills so far. And a nice deny as well. Demonic Purge onto Huskar in the mid lane.
That magic resist is way too good.
Yeah, way too good. You
Yeah.
you can't really burst him down, I feel, or finish him off.
Not until the Anti-Mage just has a few more items, and the best thing that they have is Invoker with Forge Spears to take down his armor and also do physical damage. So I think without Invoker, I mean, Mirana's obviously not going to have physical damage. Batrider hits with a Wet Noodle. Anti-Mage requires a lot of farm. He's only got Treads and a Claymore with a Ring of Health right now, Poor Man's Shield and a Branch. He's even 50 gold off the Claymore. So it's going to be a long time before he's doing damage. So Huskar can kind of YOLO it up. He doesn't necessarily have a Dazzle on his team, but
I wish you know, you'd think that with Dazzle's prominence in the current meta, that they would run the Dazzle with Huskar. Like, I just feel like that would have definitely been something they'd want to grab. But they didn't. They think that it's okay to not do the
I think
combo.
AA is a lot more powerful. I kind of feel like the Huskar was a last minute thing. They're like, man, who do we want to last pick? It's like, you want to pick Huskar? Like, sure. So.
Oh, Airfly's actually almost hits Chains. It was all the way from the Roshan pit, I believe. Went all the way this way.
Yeah, certainly did. They are 5-manning mid. Meantime, Anti-Mage, he's going to be doing the Anti-Mage thing, farming. Getting a lot of last hits. He's already up to 63.
Yeah, not bad considering he had not the most stellar early game. And at least, I think, he had 2 deaths as well. Huskar wanted to kind of chase after him, but Anti-Mage just blinks away, so it'll be A-okay. Look at Scripted. Look at his positioning. He's just waiting for Anti-Mage to get out of position. I don't know what he can accomplish on his own, however, but I guess maybe the Nature's Prophet porting in, Ancient Apparition throwing out an Ice Blast could make something work.
Absolutely. I want to say I think a very intelligent item choice is Nature's Prophet's actually going to be rushing an Orchid Malevolence. So instead of going for something like a Scythe of Ice or a Shadow Blade or a Necrobook, the Orchid is going to give them a lot of control and damage against Anti-Mage, who heavily relies on his Blink before he can man-fight anyone. And he's not going to have a Manta Saw before that's done because the Orchid is just so cheap in relation to those items. And very quietly, AA is sitting at 3-0 and is 1400 for an X. It's 16 minutes in, and this guy's going to have like a 24-minute Aghanim Scepter if Bane's nice enough to buy the wards until they have that, which is a lot of damage. 17 seconds is no joke. It's almost like a Venomancer Ultimate. Grip is used up.
And indeed it is. So it's not enough, though. They can't get enough DPS. They're fast enough to make anything happen.
Yeah, Huskar's a little bit out of position as well.
Oh, Invoker gets mid lane quite easily. Yeah, this is Necro Minion level 1 currently. He's got that Necro book online. Meanwhile, bottom lane, we're going to see them. They grab KS, they get him the Arrow Connects to finish the job. And it's the Shadow Demon with a killing spree. He has 4-1 this game. I guess this really aggressive roaming combo between the Mirana and Shadow Demon, it was not doing so great early on, but I think this Mirana, she's warmed up. She can hit her arrows a lot better now than she was earlier on in the game, and they're kind of they're crawling their way back into this game. We're not really crawling, but they're preventing themselves from falling behind, and their anti-mage he's getting a good amount of farm now. I think things are starting to look a lot nicer for MiTH.Trust.
Yeah, actually, if we're looking at the XP, it's actually ahead for MiTH.Trust just because they're roaming around and killing in gold. Pretty much even. And this is, you're going for a hard carry Huskar against anti-mage. When Dota came out, and this was like the PL, this was everyone pick anti-mage because he's just so broken. He split pushes, he farms really quickly, and he's impossible to kill, and then he just kills you late game. And that's how he was viewed. He's still very powerful. So
yeah, I remember the days in Dota 1 where you could actually bash chance stacked, so you just go 2 bashes on him, and you just unlock somebody and they would die. Obviously, Dota wasn't terribly balanced back then, but it was like definitely the heyday. That was so much fun too, but it was the heyday of the anti-mage.
I actually never played Dota 1.
You missed out, man.
I was too busy playing StarCraft Brood War.
Well, I played a lot of that as well.
And Diablo 2.
Yeah, I played a lot of that as well, but I did manage to put in a good amount of time into Dota 1 and even Heroes of New Earth before the Dota 2 beta came around.
Dota was actually just a year ago was my first game like this to play. Obviously, besides the custom games and like StarCraft Brood War. That's all anyone ever played, right?
AOS? No, man. There's so many good. There were so many good different custom maps in Brood War. There were the the tower defense. Tower defense. That genre was created from Brood War, as well as I guess MOBAs or ARTS, whatever you want to call them. Enough about that. Let's
talk about the game.
Yeah, the top tower, the tier 2, has been picked off. It's first departure, grabbing themselves another tower, and there's that Orchid you were talking about. It's online for this Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, Anti-Mage should be quite scared right now. Because it's 20 minutes and he almost has his Battle Fury. Which some people like to put out metrics like, well, if it's not a 12-minute Battle Fury, then under any circumstance it shouldn't be good. But when you look at the other item choices of the other team, I mean, Clock only has a Blade Mail, Huskar only has an Armlet and Treads, and Nature's Prophet, he has a Midas and Orchid. He's the highest net worth in the team.
Check out this Ancient Apparition, however. He is about 500 gold from getting his Aghanim Scepter. It's going to be Aghanim Scepter before like a level 11 Ice Blast. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's going to be doing, I think, most of the work, to be totally frank. Not to say that Burning Spears, Fiend's Grip, and Nature's Draft doesn't do a lot of work as well, but I think they're going to have to guarantee most of their kills being due to Ice Blast.
Mid lane. There's a nice initiation from the Path Rider. The arrow misses once again. Defy throws out the chains. He tries to throw out a hook shot as well, but Demonic Purge, and then of course the Sunstrike from the Anti-Mage, not Anti-Mage, the Invoker, the enemy of Anti-Mage, finishes the job.
I always thought it was really funny how much synergy Anti-Mage and Invoker kind of had on the same team. Just because Anti-Mage offers a lot of physical damage late in the game and a lot of mobility, and Invoker offers a lot of control and buffs and debuffs to the enemy team and to his own team that Anti-Mage really lacks.
Looks like
one of those things.
This Roshan attempt will be spotted thanks to the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, but, I mean, Roshan is already, like, he's dying so fast. They have a medallion on the Mirana, and Roshan will indeed fall. Invoker picks up the Aegis, and he already has a level 3 Necrominion as well, so really, this Invoker's looking to be the scary player on MiTH.Trust, at least until Anti-Mage comes online, which, speaking of coming online, there's your Battle Fury.
Yep. Battle Fury coming out at about 21 minutes, so not the worst, all things considered. We need to start working on that Mantis out to start dealing with the Orchid Malevolence, and his team's just doing an incredible job of making space for him. Same as on the Spectre in the last game. Obviously not in the same manner that he can haunt into a fight. They kind of want him to split the farm.
KS. He's going to get caught between a stone and a hard place. All the arrow is going to fly out, but it doesn't. Sunstrike so close. Nature's Prophet is down to 11 health. Meanwhile, TNK, he's trapped inside the Raj pit. Will try to disrupt himself to buy a little bit of time. The arrow comes out. Is it enough to kill off the clockwork? It is! And TNK, he survives with under 100 health. He'll get earned up. Very nice turnaround from MiTH.Trust. They're able to save their Shadow Demon and kill off the clockwork. Meanwhile, the battle isn't over as we see KYT is going in on Lubby, finishes the job as well with a little bit of a flame break. And, okay, Ancient Apparition did buy the Blade of Eclarity before he died, so he still will have that Agnum Scepter upgrade when he comes back to the living world.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be a big deal. Anti-Mage, though, now has a Yasha. He is not particularly tanky. I don't think he... Has he put any points in stats? Looks like he hasn't, if I'm just doing my math wrong. So
Anti-Mage?
Yeah, he's sitting at 1,100 life points. If he gets hit with an Ice Blast, he gets down, he loses almost half his life points. So any gank on him can be very successful, especially if they commit a level 2 Fiend's Grip whenever Bane is able to hit level 11. I'm not sure what he's going to be going for with this staff, which would be probably a Force Staff. It's usually what Banes go for, but the interesting thing I wanted to point out is that Huskar is going for an Aghanim. So what do you think about that item choice over something like maybe a Heart or an AC or maybe some sort of Lifesteal?
Well, it basically, like, it just makes his ultimate more ridiculous. It's pretty good. Hold on a second, though. There's an arrow. It hits Huskar, and look at that! The creeps! The Forged Spirits, the summoned minions, they finish him off. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, well... Considering FD's lack of heal on their team, like they don't have a Medallions or anything like that, I'm down with the Agnum Scepter upgrade. It gives him a decent amount of survivability and damage, and all the stats are, I guess, good for him besides the intelligence. So we'll have to wait and see if it actually becomes useful, because so far, I'll be honest, this Huskar has been really underwhelming in this game. We haven't really seen him accomplish that much. The same can be said for Anti-Mage, but his purpose is very different. He's been sitting back, he's been farming, and he's getting to the phase where he can start to do so it's pushing, and looks like I missed a kill as ABA got a kill, but there will be a turnaround. Mirana tries the TP away, and Nature's Prophet finishes the job with the Treants.
Well, lots of action happening everywhere over the map, which is what you expect from a global strat. And this is actually kind of how we feel anytime we see Huskar, right? Like, we think of Huskar, we're like, oh god, Burning Spears is so ridiculous, and he can just jump on any support and kill them, but when we see him in a professional scene, he just kind of farms in the lane, and then 20 minutes hits, and you just kind of forget he exists.
Yeah. You know what? I think people need to put him as a mid laner, or like a roamer or something. Like, you gotta do something with them other than that position one. I'm not sure if I'm happy with what he's been able to accomplish here. Or maybe teams just, they haven't ran him with enough different strategies, and we haven't seen this hero's full potential be utilized yet. That's another thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Also, the Agnum Scepter. I just imagine if he could jump on someone and he toggles his armlet and has a Helm of the Dominator. Or he can even go on top of that. He can get a Vladimir's Offering as well. So he can get another unique attack modifier. So he gets Lifesteal and he gets a Desolator. And then all of a sudden he's doing a lot more damage with almost the same amount of gold. Well, 50% more gold than he's putting into this Agnum Scepter, which really only just... what does it even do for Huskar?
It reduces the cooldown and I believe it also the decreases. Let's see, Scepter cooldown 4, Scepter damage dealt 65%. So there's your upgrade info there.
Yeah, I just can't really see that being worth it.
Hold on, Clockwork moves in. Oh, they tried to get the Pet Rider. Huskar, he just decides to leap onto the high ground to finish the job on Bat Rider. That was pretty darn cool looking, just leaping to the high ground. Script though, he was hit with an arrow, and the Sunstrike follow up, but he will be able to kind of escape in time.
He walks through Firefly.
Does. Anti-Mage will try to chase him down. He has his Manta style completed, which just makes him even scarier, and he's able to get the kill. Nice little blink from him, but there's a turnaround from KS. Those illusions, though, already bringing him down mana-wise really low. We're going to see Nature's Prophet run away simply from the illusions.
So, are you telling me that this guy got a 21-minute Battle Fury, and 5 minutes later he has a Manta and 1k gold?
He's literally been farming the entire game. That's all that LK's been doing. That's, I think, the first time he really kind of like went out there to get a solo kill on somebody. But I guess, I mean, even if you have a bad early game, if you just keep farming and that's all you're doing, then you will eventually catch up.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned this. I obviously believed that this would happen, but I didn't think he'd be able to farm a Manta style in 5 minutes. Holy crap, man. That is efficiency at its finest, absolutely.
It is.
It's also the Quelling Blade pickup. A lot of people underrate, if you're going to be going for a farming build, to pick up a Quelling Blade after the lane. At 30% bonus damage against creeps is a lot. It essentially means you farm 30% faster. So,
yeah.
Going to be helping him out a lot there. And I think MiTH.Trust is already a part of the game where First Departure is not going to be able to really contest them. Because Invoker is big, Bat Rider has his items, he's about to have a Pipe of Insight, and he kills Nature's Prophet. So, Bat Rider is a very good rat hunter, so Nature's Prophet's not going to be able to buy too much space. Mirana can start building damage later on. She's actually going to go for a Yule Scepter to set up her own arrows.
Full-on utility.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with the Yule, she really doesn't have an excuse to miss an arrow. But yeah, even Mirana later on in the game can transition to more DPS, like you were saying. Anti-Mage, though, I think that's all the DPS they'll really need. The illusions are just being really annoying. Huskar, though, is going to come in. So throw out a few Burning Spears. Does go for a dunk as well. And with the Fiend's Grip, they're able to kill off Anti-Mage. The tower is not in deny range quite yet, so they won't be able to handle that. But, I mean, I suppose that extra burst damage following the Fiend's Grip is something that we can't really underestimate.
Yeah, absolutely, but when I'm thinking about trying to build Huskar to actually carry, I'm just thinking of like a Daedalus, a Heart, Satanic, Armlet maybe. I don't know. I don't really see where Aghanim's really fits in the picture the same way that it does for a carry hero such as Faceless Void, who just has a 60-second cooldown on Chrono, which means that anytime you see someone every minute, you can kill them. So
I don't know. Maybe the Aghanim Scepter needs a bit of a boost. We've been seeing Aghanim Scepters getting like big buffs basically across the board. I guess, you know, maybe the damage taken could be reduced, or the range could be increased to Black Break. So there's some little cool mechanic there to make it more desirable. Enough of that. Bottom lane, onto the tier 3 tower. They're diving, and they just lasso Nature's Prophet. Poor old Prophet, he gets picked off. We're going to see this tier 3 tower get taken down from the look of things. A lot of TPs coming kind of from both ends. Chains, though, is going to move on the TNK. There's the Moonlight Shadow dunk onto Sandcunt. We'll see if he can finish the job. No! Anti-Mage joins the fun. Gets a little revenge kill on the Huskar. And meanwhile, bottom lane, throughout all the action of the TPs from both ends, we're going to see Defa. Scripted. He was low on health, but he will survive. The tier 3 tower still ends up falling. And Invoker buys back, interestingly enough. I guess they want to go for a big 5-man push while this Huskar is on cooldown.
I thought he bought back to Sunstrike. And I don't know what he looked to Sunstrike, but they'll get Roche out of it at the very least. No, they were pinging it saying that it might be up, so it's not going to be up. But MiTH.Trust, you just can't fight this team right now. I really don't know what their plan is going to be. What do you think they can do to get back in this game? If we're looking at the gold lead, it's just skyrocketing downward towards MiTH.Trust, and they have the better late game, and they can fight better right now.
They have to make use of these globals, I feel. They can try to get a few pickoffs here and there. really could be the best they could hope for. I mean, once Ancient Apparition gets like level 3 on this Ice Blast, I feel like they'll have a much better team fight. But really, they just... This Huskar, man, is... I feel like this pick has really hurt them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. I mean, if you're going to try anything new, then try it here, right? Because no one really knows how to play Huskar. Here we are talking about Aghanims. I mean, he's just going to get mana broken. That hero doesn't need mana, it's whatever.
That's fine. He's okay, but these illusions are being really annoying. Look at that. They're actually like trying to DPS down these illusions. Actually, Chain's saying, okay, you know what, I'm just going to run away. Roshan's back up and already into the pit. LK goes. The arrow will connect with Roshan as well, but this could be it. They're going to take out TNK before it can really do anything in these team fights. Out come the Necrominions to kind of tank at the front. And Huskar, okay, we're going to see him move on to somebody, but he's just getting dragged all over the place. LK, he actually ends up going down thanks to the Fiend's Grip. And a very nice Deafening Blast comes out, brings a lot of KS. Pretty low, they're going to back off. Nature's Prophet will fall. So it's a 3 for 3, but oh, look at that Bane! He was able to just brain sap, I believe, the Mirana down. So they take him. AAB, BAA is the only one left on MiTH.Trust Zen, and that was kind of weird. I didn't expect them to lose that team fight, but then again, they kind of went in there one by one, and were getting kind of picked apart, I suppose.
Well, it was just that the Shadow Demon got picked off right away, and Disruption is such an incredible utility in a team fight just because it can be used on allied heroes, not to mention, if they don't necessarily need it defensively, having 2 extra anti-mage illusions is a lot of DPS as well. Not to mention the Demonic Purge and the Soul Catcher are going to be doing a lot of damage, so they kind of decided, well, maybe we can fight anyway, and as it ends up, they kind of couldn't have. But at the very least, all 3 cores went down for first departure, and the 2 supports are the only ones that lived, so not the end of the world. Bane actually buys Strength Dreads. He's actually super tanky. That's why he was able to live in that last fight.
There we go, man. That extra 3 HP regeneration from Force Staff and the Power Treads, that'll make him unkillable.
He's got 1347 HP, man. Mirana has 815.
Well, you know what a cool thing about Bane is? I think he's the only hero in the game that has exactly the same stats for every attribute.
And he has the same stat gain.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a kind of cool thing about Bane that a lot of people don't really think much about. Even though he's definitely an intelligence hero, that's his main, I guess, primary attribute, and he's generally played in the support role. At least once upon a time he was in the mid lane, but we haven't really seen that from him in a long time.
Hey man, when I start up a bot game to practice last hitting, they always send Bane mid. That's a mid hero right there, confirmed. Why would Valve put it in the game if it wasn't true?
What? Volvo, please. Alright, oh, they're going to see a hook move out onto the Shadow Demon. He gets actually pushed out of the cogs, thanks to the cogs. I hate when that happens. No chains, getting DPS down a little bit, thanks to the 7 stacks of Melting Strike, but he's still A-okay. Heals himself up with the Inner Vitality. Out comes the Glyph as well, and Ancient Apparition, the Ice Belt. Oh! Shadow Demon, he's still dead. The Global Strap to finish the job. Now Bat Rider, he's fishing for somebody to go ahead and lasso, but I don't think they can make anything work. And you know what? During this entire time, it's joinDOTA. That's where Invoker and Anti-Mage were. They're at the bottom lane pushing these towers. And we're seeing another kill. KS got a Bat Rider, I think, at the end. Everyone's TPing home, though. It's like battles happening on multiple sides of the map. It's hard to keep track of everything. Okay, as well as AA, BBAA, they get the top melee racks, the important one, and the range. Well, I don't even know if they need to finish that off, but still, that was totally worth it for MiTH.Trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like, these fights are kind of awkward because people are just TPing in at different times, and it's like, alright, I'll TP and defend. And then you're busy fighting, they're like, wait, I need help. And you're like, wait, you need help? And then you're trying to concentrate on multiple fights at the same time.
Oh, Anti-Mage, Heflatv, we'll see if we can get off a hook.
I mean, Anti-Mage has Blink in 5 seconds, and...
and he Clockwork turns around. He's saying, you know what? Those illusions, they just aren't for me. Oh, the Tornado's going to come out and barely misses, but in comes Huskar. Goes for the dunk, and he's going to get sheeped as well as destroyed from the look of things. No, activates his armlet, but it's not enough. He goes down and go into the cogs. Goes TNK. 4 steps to the high ground. He'll be okay and survives the fight. So Huskar is just the only one that dies for now, but Clockwork, Defa, Anti-Mage, oh, he for the Mana Void, the Mana Break. Blink away, though, from Bane. So we'll be okay. 11 seconds left on that Fiend's Grip. Oh, they're going to turn around. Look at him man-moding. That's what Anti-Mage is doing. He can easily eat through those trees, though. The cogs do it for him. I'll see an arrow once again miss. Anti-Mage quite low on health. Blinks away. And, well, oh! The Fiend's Grip, or excuse me, the Brain Sap. Very close to finishing the job. KS, can he actually do it? Oh, actually, they do it. Never mind.
They did. They got it with a right click.
Okay.
Can't cancel the TP though. Orchid doesn't cancel the TPs, and that was just him getting really ballsy there. And it was really smart there for Furion or KS to hold on to the Orchid, because most of the time when anti-mages are going for the kill, they do exactly what you saw him do for the Bane. They blink on and they try to get the Manta to get the surround in a bit of a semicircle. And as soon as that Manta was on cooldown, he threw down the Orchid and knew that anti-mage couldn't blink away. So they're able to get the kill just from that heads-up decision-making from the Nature's Prophet.
And you know, Nature's Prophet, I'm surprised. He's 7, 8, and 7 this game.
A lot of those are from Nature's Wrath.
Oh man. Dire's Courier is dead. They got it.
Yeah,
killed off the Courier, wrong place, wrong time.
Nature's Prophet just TP'd to Roche to try to sneak it, and then found a Courier and was like, well, see ya. They're going to come to Roche right now. I'm not going to stick around. I got a Courier. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
check out it. This is his farm, though. Like, he's got a BKB and a Mignon Lair in addition to that Orchid. So he's been doing pretty darn good on farm despite 8 deaths.
No one knows how to say that item. I think it's Molnir.
I looked it up online how to properly pronounce it. And it's Mignon Lair to the best of my ability. I think someone even messaged me and said that I was incorrect, but now I'm just on the fence about the item.
It's kind of like, you know, Aegis. It's actually Aegis, but everyone just calls it the Aegis.
I think you can actually, it's one of those words you can pronounce in different ways.
Really?
Aegis, it doesn't really matter. Aegis.
I swear I'm going to call that thing a Molnir until the day I die.
Alright, even if I turn out being wrong, I hope you do that.
Oh, wow. I don't know exactly what that means.
Meanwhile, Roshan goes down. You see MiTH.Trust grab it. And, they're just going into good town on Huskar. He's being kept alive just barely, but I'm sorry, there's no Dazzle to really help out. And LK is moving on to Defa next. The Cogs buy a little bit of time. That's, okay, there we go. He's lasted, though, and that will be the end of Defa. That's 2 dead on first departure. Everybody else is running away. I'm pretty sure that even the best attempts at Rat Dota from KS would not turn this game around for them. It's just looking terrible for our first departure.
I think the funny thing about Nature's Prophet, too, when you pick him up in the early stages, is there are some carries that you pick that just love Nature's Prophet. Such Luna and Anti-Mage being at the top of that list, I think, and PL, I guess, too, as we saw in last game. Where basically, the guy just delivers farm to you, safely pushed towards your base, all game. And that's exactly what he's been doing. He really hasn't been able to take any objectives with the split pushing besides doing a lot of farm on his own. Your camera just went crazy, by the way.
I know. I did that on purpose.
Okay. I keep looking at it trying to see what you're seeing, and I was like, man, what's he seeing? He's looking at the whole map right now.
Well, I'm looking at bottom lane now because we're seeing LK. He's going to work. There's a lasso on the KS. And he gets Fiend Script, though, will be frozen afterwards. In comes Huskar, uses the life break, but Anti-Mage is just looking so damn strong. Do they have enough people to take him down? Another potential dunk from Huskar. We're seeing Defa. He hooks in. They actually are able to break the Aegis, but round 2. That's the problem here. Are they going to be able to get him? They do go for another life break, but Huskar, he's sheeped up, being force-staffed away, and they do remove the threat of the troll. And with the rest of First Departure kind of running away to the well, that will spell doom for the tier 3 barracks in the bottom lane, and I think that's basically GG from the looks of these Roxas.
Yeah, I think it should be. And this is what happens when you draft a super early aggressive. They expected to just win the laning phase so hard, and they're like, alright, Anti-Mage isn't going to do anything, we're just going to 5-man and win the game, right?
But I think, you know, it would be cool if people tried running Huskar's support. He has a heal on him.
He does. He doesn't really require much mana with the items, but I think
look at Invoker. He's stuck in the well. Just outside the rage. He's still going the fall. Nice feed. TNK feed as well, but you know what? On the back end, space created.
Doesn't matter, got racks.
Yeah. 2-3 racks to back. A buyback as well from the Invoker. Well, he forced to use his Force or Ghost Scepter. And you know what? GG is called. Well played by First Departure, but MiTH.Trust. They proved to be the superior team in the end. A lot of crazy action. But yeah, the GG was called. Is that a fake GG? That's what it looks like to me.
Radiant's middle barracks have fallen.
I mean, their ancient's gonna fall. I guess they just want to have fun killing each other. There's nothing wrong with that. KS coming in. Add more rares. Give them the rares.
Well, Sunstrike off the mark. Anti-Mage is totally cool, just tanking this well up for a little bit, but he blinks away. But yes, this is GG, ladies and gentlemen. The game has indeed completed. And oh, okay, never mind. I thought MiTH.Trust offensively GG'd or something, but all right, another GG is called. We'll see if this is actually a real GG. I'm waiting for it. I guess they want to get Sandcon before they lead this match.
Well, they lost their courier.
Triple kill. The Dire now have mega creeps.
Look at this. They may actually get LK. His silence and the Ice Blast hits him. That's a lot of DPS.
He could shatter.
A little bit more. Well, no, Bat Rider's coming in. I don't know if this Anti-Mage will shatter. Yeah, he's just a little bit too high on health. And even the pipe has popped on him as well. Okay. I'm like expecting this game to be over, but no. It's not. Wait, not me. Scripted says.
They're having the type in the middle of all these fights, too.
Oh, man. Okay.
What is going on? Huskar's back
going
to
to
full
end.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
All right, I think they wanna this game to end the traditional way with the creeps killing out both the tier 3 towers and the middle barracks. Look at that, just more buybacks on both ends. All right, this is just getting to a clowny kind of game.
Radiant's
Hey, you want to watch Huskar die in 2 hits?
Yeah, I indeed just watched him die in 2 hits.
Pretty nice, huh?
Oh man,
that was the one position carry, by the way.
All right, well there's another GG. Entertainment and time indeed.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
The final tower will fall, and eventually the GG will happen. More tower diving. The face actually, keep people kind of stuck inside. Okay, I think everybody is back at this point in the game. There we go. Finally, report teammate for cancel, please. But the GG is called, and that concludes it for this best of 2 at the joinDOTA League. I think MiTH.Trust ended up taking both matches, and they simply outplayed and outdrafted First Departure from the look of things. Any last words, Roxas?
No, I as much as we maybe casually flame the Huskar pick, it's good to be drafting them because otherwise, I mean, if heroes aren't picked in professional games, IceFrog doesn't know where to go with them if he wants to make them professionally viable. So, commends for that, the courage to do it, and amazing play from MiTH.Trust, especially LK on the Anti-Mage, being completely shut down, but a lot of us that aren't as experienced would probably get pretty greedy, end up just feeding and then losing the game, but he took whatever he could get off his plate and be fine. I also wanted to point out that Clockwork was sitting on a lot of money for a while. I think I briefly mentioned I was saying he was getting an Nag Scepter. He actually ended up getting a Blink Dagger at the end and had some pretty sick Blink cogs. I don't know if you really caught most of those, but those are pretty funny. And it reminds me of the Sing Sing video that you should check out on his YouTube channel where he actually buys the Clockwork Blink Dagger. That's all I've got. Those are funny and entertaining.
I didn't even realize he bought a Blink Dagger. That's really cool, though.
Yeah,
He tried to do that.
Seeing Blink
that
cogs
was not
is ridiculous.
unexpected. All right.
So that's it for us. So make sure you follow the channel, Heflatv, that you are watching right now. Just go ahead and click the follow button. You can also find some more information on us. I'm on Twitter at CallMeRoxas, and Whiplash is here at YaHWhiplash. And that's going to be it for us. Thank you to joinDOTA for putting on this league and allowing us to cast the games, and thank you to everyone for watching. Any last words from you?
I guess thanks for letting me co-cast with you, Roxas. It was a lot of fun. This was our first cast together, but I felt like we meshed pretty well, and I hope the viewers enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions and feedback, please feel free to message at me on Twitter, or you can even give me a private message through Twitch TV. I'm just VT.Whiplash is my ID. I'm in the channel. So, yeah, it was fun casting it. Fun games. Really clowny at the end there with the fake GGs, but that's all from me.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. Hope you enjoy some Dota, and we'll see you later.